Man, it's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. You feel what I'm saying? Now, listen, man, you can tap in, you can tap out, but you know my slogan, you know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. So let's get right into it. Now, you already know time and energy are the highest forms of currency, my G. I know they got y'all here chasing that bag, chasing that money, chasing that paper, stacking that cheese, that cheddar, and that mozzarella, but always keep it in the front of your mental Rolodex that time and energy are the highest forms of currency, my G's, at all times. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Now look, big salute to all my day one investors, everybody that's highly invested in the channel, everybody that understands that we are growing this channel organically, constant elevation. We're on our way to the top, well over 40,000 subscribers, and on our way to 50K. Even bigger salute to all my newcomers, all my new subscribers, all my new investors, everybody that's making their way to the Realest channel on YouTube, Grown Man Business TV. Listen, man, I carved out a lane for the real, and I'm the only one in it. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Now, do me a favor, man. Wipe off your feet before you step into the big house. You feel me? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure your notification bells are ringing loud and clear every time you tap into the Realest channel on YouTube, Grown Man Business TV. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. You already know how I'm giving it up, and you definitely already know how I'm putting it down. All right? Big salute to the chat. Hit the like button. Do what you're supposed to do when you step into the building. Now, we got to talk about Diddy. You know, a lot of people in the DM, G&B TV. What's your thought process on everything that's going down with P. Diddy? I mean, what's your perspective on the sentencing of Puff Daddy? And I gotta say, man, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. It's absolutely nasty work on multiple different levels. But you already know, man, I connect the dots like no other here at Grown Man Business TV. You already know my perspective is like no other. So we're gonna talk about this, all right? We're gonna talk about Diddy. You know, we're gonna bait the algorithm, but it's always gonna be a method to the madness. It's always gonna be a message in the madness. So you tapped into the Realest. Big salute, beautiful Saturday. We're going to do what we do best. Y'all already know how we giving it up. We approaching 50,000 subscribers. We right there on the cuffs of 50K. All right, so big salute to everybody that's tapped in. We're going to have a conversation. P. Diddy sentenced to 4 years in prison. Federal prison, 4 years for, you know, the activities that was taking place in his bedroom, the things he was doing with these male prostitutes and Cassie and 50 Cent's baby mama. I mean, you know, it is what it is, man. We going to talk about this. You know, it get deep, it get wicked, and it's always deeper than rap. I gotta say that. It get deep, it get wicked, and it's always deeper than rap. You understand me? And I got a lot of people tapping in. Yo, you know, why would this happen or why would that happen? And we're gonna talk to those angles. You know, I'm gonna bring it from both perspectives, you know, legally and then just ethics. You know, you gotta have a code of ethics when it comes to standing on grown man business. And I think that's gonna be the meat and potatoes of this message right here. Big salute to everybody, man. I want to say this before we get any deeper into what's going on here. You know, grown man business trumps everything. Grown man business is a universal language. You understand what I'm saying? When it comes down to what grown man business is, it trumps your race, it trumps your creed, it trumps everything. It's a universal language in every race, on every continent, on 4 corners of this globe. You got men that's standing on business, all right? So before YouTube, before content creation, before any of this, you're going to stand on grown man business. Your integrity, you understand what I'm saying? Your moral code, your ethics, that's what puts you in a position to claim this grown man business situation. And we're going to talk more about that. We're going to get deeper into that. You know what I mean? I'm not your everyday YouTuber. I'm not the dude that's going to flood your timeline with live streams and content, because first and foremost, I'm handling grown man business. And I want to send this out to everybody that's falling under my voice. Put grown man business first. Everything comes last. Everything comes second. You understand what I'm saying? The only thing that should come before grown man business is the Elohim, is the Most High, God. That's the only thing you put above grown man business. Handle your business. You feel me? And we're going to talk more about that as well. Big salute to everybody that's in the chat, everybody that's in my DMs. Yo, G&B TV, where you at? What's going on? We need your presence in these YouTube streets. Well, listen, keep your notification bells on so anytime I hit that live button, you can be in the building. But grown man business is going to be handled first and foremost. That's one thing that you got to know we stand on this platform. We not bending, breaking, or folding. We're going to give this thing pure dope straight off the brick into the bottles, and we're going to grow this channel organically. And before we can go live, before I can talk to y'all, before anything can take place in this application, grown man business got to be handled. All right, that's one of the things I'm going to tell you separates me from a lot of these YouTubers. Yeah, I'm being honest. You know, a lot of these dudes is running to YouTube. They running to push the live button, but they not handling business on the other side. They not handling grown man business. We're going to talk more about that. Big salute to everybody that's in the chat. Well over 100 in here. Big salute to everybody in my DMs. All the young boys in my DMs, big salute to y'all. You know what I mean? I try my hardest and I try my best to make sure I respond, give y'all the interactions that y'all looking for. You understand me? But grown man business, handle that first. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Trooper69, I see you in the chat. Big salute to my big wrenches. Big salute to everybody that's in tune with the channel. Yeah, we approaching 50,000 subscribers. Now let's talk about this. Matter of fact, before we talk about this, y'all already know I got to do some customizations to the chat. Yeah, I got to do some customizations to the chat because you already know the higher ups and the elites are playing chess at the highest level. You already know they trying to muffle the message. They trying to shadow ban the channel. I mean, I can't stop this. This is how the game goes when you a truth teller. When you come on this application and you tell the truth, you got to protect the channel. So I got to do some customizations to the chat. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button when you step in the building. Grown Man Business TV. We're going to talk about Diddy. Yeah, we're going to have a conversation about Diddy in these 4 years that he got. And you got to know something. Again, my perspective is like no other. There's nobody going to connect the dots the way I'm going to connect the dots. Big salute to the chat. Let's see what we got going on here, man. Yeah, we gonna talk about this. Diddy, 4 years in prison. I mean, you know, it is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. What's going on? Look at this. They already playing with this, man. They don't want me to deliver this message. You know what I mean? And worse come to worse, we gonna go right in. We ain't gonna waste no time. I mean, if they playing with the channel, then we just gonna get right into this. All right, well, it is what it is. They ain't allowing me to customize the chat. Yeah, they ain't allowing me to customize the chat right now. Let's see what we got. Big salute to the chat. Well over 100 in here. I see y'all in here. Let's line this up. Hit the like button, the subscribe button. Make sure you in tune with the Realest on YouTube. Grown Man Business. Yeah. Let's see what we got, man. Let's go live stream. Yeah, now, you know, I normally get to customize the chat before I go in. They not allowing me to do that. We not gonna waste no time. You know what? Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. Let's get into this. Now, Puffy, 4 years in prison for the misconduct with these male prostitutes and, you know, Cassie and everything else that's going on. You already know the context of what's going on with Puffy. I ain't got to go down the line of that. If you really want to get into, you know, different angles, I got live streams I already posted. You can go back and watch those. Now, I want to say this. When it comes to the legal side of this situation with Puffy, it's nasty work. Legally, Puffy should not be doing no time in prison. You know, he was acquitted of those heavy charges. You know, the charges that he did get stuck with were very minor. You know, any other way of this situation, Puffy would be at home drinking pina coladas, hanging out with his family right now. But being as though Puffy is a threat to the establishment, being as though Puffy is a black man that is, you know, leveraging his celebrity, leveraging his influence over the urban community. Yeah, I gotta say this. Puffy is a black celebrity that has went rogue. See, the problem is Puffy was pushing the agenda for all of these years. Puffy was, you know, he was playing with the higher ups and the elites. He was throwing these all white parties. He was turning out these rappers, yeah, male and female. When he was doing all of that, take that, everything was all good. Everything was hunky-dory. The higher ups and the elites had no problem with P. Diddy calling Meek Mill's daddy. Yeah, Puffy. Yeah, Puffy was doing his 1-2 step with the higher ups and the elites, and it was no issue. But as soon as Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, right, Sean Combs, as soon as he started talking about a black political party, as soon as Puff Daddy started trying to take certain billionaires to court, for racial, discrimination and all of that. As soon as Puffy started going against the grain, now we in court. Now it's an issue. Now it's a problem. So I wanted to throw that out there, and I want y'all to understand that it get deep, it get wicked, and it's always deep in the rap. Diddy is on trial. Diddy has been sentenced to 4 years, not because of his sexual conduct, not because of the things he was doing behind closed doors, but Diddy was pushing the envelope. Diddy was making some higher ups and some elites very uncomfortable with the things that he was saying about a black political party. Now, I want to go into that just a little bit before we go any further. When is the last time you heard a black celebrity talk about a black political party? I'll wait. Yeah, let me. Yeah, we haven't. We haven't heard Jay-Z, LeBron James, some of these big celebrity puppets talk about gathering up black people, the indigenous people of America, and starting to redirect our votes, redirect our money. You got to understand something. That is a dangerous thing when you start talking about redirecting the vote of black people, redirecting the resources of black people. Y'all already know, we spend about a couple of $1 trillion a year. Black people alone, just my people, indigenous black people, foundational black Americans, we spend over $1 trillion a year, right? And if you notice, every time it's a election comes up, anytime it's a election is brought into the play, right? They always talking about the black vote. Who are the black people voting for? They never talk about who are the African people voting for, who are the Jamaicans, who are the Haitians, who are the Italians voting for. They always talk about the black vote. And yes, Diddy really spooked the higher ups and the elites when he started talking about a black political party. So I wanted to make sure we all understand that Diddy is not doing 4 years in prison because of his sexual conduct. Diddy is not doing 4 years in prison because of male prostitutes and crossing state lines and blah, 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 blah. Diddy was put in position and he was bending, breaking, and folding for the higher ups and the elites. And as soon as he went rogue, as soon as he got off a script, now we see Diddy at court. We see Diddy at his lowest point. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. A black political party is one of the most dangerous weapons when it comes to the higher ups and the elites. A black man accumulating $1 billion, right? And then saying, I'm going to take my people and I'm going to redirect the energy. That is what they are most scared of. That's what they fear the most. Somebody like Puff Daddy, Jay-Z, LeBron James actually, redirecting the energy of the urban community. So, I wanted to throw that out there, and I want you to understand something. There's nobody bringing this up. There's nobody on YouTube talking like this. There's nobody that's really going to connect the dots other than Grown Man Business TV. That's what we here for. All right, so we needed to throw that out there. Puff Daddy is a threat to the establishment. And anytime you become a threat to the establishment, bow. Yeah, they get to like Charlie Kirk. You remember what happened to Charlie Kirk and all that, don't you? You remember what happened to Malcolm X, Kennedy, Martin Luther King. You get turned into a pack. They didn't get a chance to eliminate Puffy, but they got a chance to humiliate Puffy. Oh yeah, bars, right? You like that? Yeah. They didn't get a chance to eliminate or terminate Puff Daddy, but they definitely got a chance to humiliate Puff Daddy. And we gonna talk about that. The Black Political Party. I'm gonna keep speaking on that. Because, after 4 years, 3 years of prison, I hope that Puff Daddy gets out of jail and he continues with that Black Political Party. Yeah, don't forget about that, Puffy. When you go to prison, you do your time and you come home. Let's not forget about that Black Political Party that you was talking about. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. All right? Now, like I said, legally, Puff Daddy should not be in prison. I mean, this is nasty work when it comes to the judicial system, when it comes to courts, lawyers, judges. We are looking at a new day where judges are able to override what happens in court and gets to use their feelings and their emotions and gets to use a bias. As a judge, you're supposed to be non-biased. You're supposed to go with the law, the Constitution. And if they actually did that, Puffy would have been sent home released. But it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Now, I want to go a little deeper with this because I want y'all to understand something. Here at Grown Man Business, we are not defending transmissions. Yeah, we are not defending the Rainbow Coalition. We are not defending the Rainbow community. And I got to let y'all know something. If you like it or not, if you want to believe it or not, I mean, whatever you into, you came here for pure dope, straight off the brick, into the bottles. That's the only way I can give it to you. Puff Daddy is a part of the LBG 123 ABC community. Yeah, we got to be honest with this. Puff Daddy is a Rainbow Coalition member. Is what it is. It'll be what it's going to be. There's no way around it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Puff Daddy, Sean Diddy Combs, is a Rainbow Coalition member. He is a homosexual man. Puff Daddy is a down low homosexual. And I need y'all to come to grips with that. And I'm not going to defend that over here. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people saying free Diddy. It's a lot of people that's really using their platforms to push a narrative and an agenda that, free Puffy. Well, I feel the same way about Young Thug that I feel about P. Diddy. I'm not screaming, free Young Thug. That is a homosexual man. Same thing with Diddy, man. If you like it or not, you got to stand on that type of business. And that's where we're going to get into, integrity, the ethics of this situation. Legally, when it comes to the law, Puff Daddy should be free. Puff Daddy should be home with his children, with his family. But ethics, when it comes to morals and ethics, I got to say it, man. 4 years sounds about right. Yeah. You heard it here. You heard it here first. Grown Man Business TV. I'm telling you, 4 years for what Diddy was doing behind closed doors, it sounds about right. And this is where I want a lot of grown men and I want a lot of youngsters out there. The young boys that's in my DMs, the young boys that's tapped in with Grown Man Business TV. I want y'all to really hear me on this situation. I want y'all to really use this pure dope straight off the brick into the bottles, and I want you to apply it to your everyday life, your everyday lifestyle. You got a lot of people saying what Puff Daddy does behind closed doors is none of my business. The things that Diddy does in his sex life, none of my business. Well, you right about that. The things that you do behind closed doors is none of our business. But the things that you do behind closed doors, that's all of God's business. The things you do behind closed doors is you and God's business. And I think that's where a lot of y'all get confused at. You think, but, the things you do behind closed doors, you can do it without no repercussions and consequences that come behind that. And I'm here to tell you, Oh, just because it's behind closed doors, just because you do it in the darkness, don't mean it won't be brought into the light. Yeah, I'm gonna mix all this in. Go Yayo, Puff Daddy. I'm gonna mix all of this in. Okay, the things that Puffy was doing behind closed doors, I'ma say, yeah, 4 years sounds about right. It's a thin line with this. When it comes to a black man in the law, I'm with it. Yeah, I don't like to see a black man being railroaded. You know, the law is the law. But when it comes to ethics and morals and integrity, 4 years sounds about right. Now, one thing for sure and two things for certain, my G's, y'all already know, right? I kept the receipts. Ooh, yeah, I kept the receipts. I'm not going out the house without the receipts. Listen to me. One thing for sure and two things for certain. When I step out of the big house, I got the receipts in my back pocket. Just in case I got to take your ass to the store and return you. I might have to take you back and exchange you for my money. I want my money. I kept the receipts, my G. And the things that you do in the darkness will soon come to the light. And the things you do in the darkness, you got to pay for. Yeah, you got to pay. You know what? We're going to talk about it. Puff Daddy has gotten away with a lot behind closed doors. He's gotten away with a lot. You understand what I'm saying? So 4 years, sit down, do your time, and go home. Be thankful that a lot of the things you got away with, you ain't being charged with. Be thankful, my G. I'm going to tell you something, man. You know, a lot of the times when you go to jail or you go to prison and you get a chance to sit down, you say to yourself, damn, I got away with a lot. Yeah, trust me, I've known that. I've done that. I know how it feels. I know how it feels to sit in that jail cell and say, damn, homie, in high school, you was the man, homie. You understand me? So we going to talk about that. When it come down to the law, the judicial system, when it come down to the logistics of what took place in that courtroom, Diddy should be home with his family. But when it come down to morals, ethics, and integrity, oh yeah, 4 years sounds about right. All right? Now, we going to get into these receipts. Big salute to the chat. Well over 400 in here. Hit that like button, man. Run the likes up. Don't be a hater your whole life. Run up the likes when you come in here. All right? Now, we going to get into some of these receipts, man. You know, the things Diddy got away with. You know, I want him to, hopefully he's sitting down in his cell, sitting down wherever he's going to be in prison at, and he's thanking the Most High. Because, you know, you definitely dodged the bullet. You know, P. Diddy, you dodged the bullet, my G. And we're going to talk more about that, but I want to say this as well. I would suggest that Puff Daddy come out of the closet. Don't come out of jail acting gangster, rapping about this and bragging about that. The first thing you need to do is admit that you are what you are. You are a Rainbow Coalition member. You know, again, I can't defend a grown man that likes to play with cum. I can't defend a grown man that has done some of the things that Puff Daddy has been exposed as doing. I can't defend that. I ain't gonna do it. Not here at Grown Man Business TV. It is what it is. Yeah. We gonna talk about that. The things that you've been accused and exposed for doing, your ass need to sit in prison for 4 years. yeah. Diddy, we ain't forgot about the shit you was doing with those male prostitutes. We ain't forgot about that, and I ain't gonna let you forget about that. Okay? Now, we gonna have some fun with this. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. You know, let's look at some of these receipts. Big salute to the chat. Run the likes up. Matter of fact, let me see if I could customize the channel before we get into this. They playing with this. They already know what I'm about to do. They already know when I go live, it's pure dope. So they playing with the channel. Let's see what's going on. I'm not gonna customize the chat if they don't want me to customize the chat. Let's see what we got. Or they playing games with this. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. You know, let's look at some of the accusations when it comes to Puff Daddy. You know, I wanna look at some of the things Puffy has been accused of and exposed for doing, which furthermore certifies my thoughts and my perspective on the 4 years that he has received. Now, I don't want to get too crazy with this, but I just want to give y'all a couple of, stories. I want to give y'all some context. Yeah, yeah. Puff Daddy is Saucy Santana. Let's not get out and get the jiggered in Harlem shaking. Let's be respectful, Puffy. That political aspect, I'm with that. Everything else, your ass need to be in prison for 4 years. All right? Big salute to the chat, man. Let's get into what we gonna get into. Let's see what we got here. First and foremost, I wanna go back to what Cameron said about Mason Betha, Puff Daddy, and that brownstone. Okay, let's start right here. Let's get into this receipt right here. And then we gonna elaborate on this. Okay, again, man, you gotta really understand the things you do in the dark will come into the light. We gon' really break this down because I want my youngsters, I want my OGs, I want y'all to really get some straightening. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna give y'all some straightening on what it mean to stand on grown man business, on what it really mean to be a man. You understand? It don't matter how much money you got. The money don't make the man make the money. Y'all got this shit all twisted and turned. Y'all got the whole concept in a figure 4. So it's only right that I give y'all this game. Let's listen to Cameron and let's get into this. Hey, we gonna get into these angles. But let's get into this receipt. Yeah, hit the like button and all that. Yeah, y'all missed me, didn't y'all? I know y'all missed this pure dope straight off the brick into the bottles. Yeah, it is what it is. I know it. I know y'all missed this grown man perspective. Listen, I'm a double back. Don't worry. But I know y'all miss me out here in these YouTube streets. Run the numbers up. Run the likes up. You know what, Cameron? I'm gonna let Cameron talk to the people. It is what it is. It is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. Cameron, talk to the people. Look.
Mace was staying there, and I went to go meet him down there one day so we could bust a move. This is when he just signed with Bad Boy. He didn't even have an album out yet. He was just getting signed. And I went to use a bathroom, and it was a dildo on the bathroom sink. And when I came out, I asked him what's about. He like, that's homeboy's joint. I don't know what it's about. He always have girls over here, but I don't know. I said, well, this one is sink. This is your bathroom. You're using this bathroom. I don't know where his bathroom at. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's word to my son, because stop breathing. I swear to God. What, guy? Mace was staying there, and I went to go meet him down there one day so we could bust a move. This is when he just signed with Bad Boy. He didn't even have an album out yet. He was just getting signed. And I went to use a bathroom, and it was a dildo on the bathroom sink. And when I came out, I asked him what's about. He like, that's homeboy's joint. I don't know what it's about. He always have girls over here, but I don't know. I said, well, this one is sink. This is your bathroom. You're using this bathroom. I don't know where his bathroom at. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's word to my son, because stop breathing. I swear to God. What, guy?
Now, I always double back to this receipt right here because for some reason, it's something that I never could get over. I never could just let that go over my head or under my bridge. Whatever you was doing to Mace in that brownstone, you deserve 4 years in prison for that. You know, when you was leaving dildos on Mace's sink next to his toothbrush, next to his goddamn toothpaste, next to the dental floss, you deserve prison time for that. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying to give y'all the context on the integrity, the things that Diddy was doing that he got away with, all of the nasty work that was taking place over the years that you got away with. Yeah, you had Mason there leaving dildos on his sink. So whatever you was doing to Mace, you need to be in prison for 4 years. All right? These things, and we're gonna go deeper into this. These things, there is no gray area. You're either a part of the Rainbow Coalition or you not. You either a fun boy or you a grown man that stands on grown man business. There is no in between. And you leaving that dildo on Mace's sink next to the dental floss, nasty work. I was murder. P. Diddy named me pretty. Did it for the money. Now can you get with me? People want to know who is he. He get busy. Sprayed so much Izzy. Yeah. Mace was talking about that. Mace was rapping about that. Did it for the money. What exactly did you do for the money? Mason Better. Yeah. Nasty work, my G. Okay? So I'm just giving some context on what I mean and what I'm saying when I talk about integrity. When I'm talking about morals and ethics. The things that you do in the dark will come to the light. You was leaving a dildo. Yeah, you left a goddamn dildo on the sink in that brownstone for Mason Better. Yeah, you did that. Okay? So a lot of the times, you know, you got a lot of people saying free Diddy, you know, X, Y, and Z, and I'm with you on that because I understand what the higher ups and the elites was doing. We're going to get deeper into that as well. But I want y'all to stay right here. I want y'all to really remember Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs, Puffy. Yeah, Honeycomb. Honeycomb was taking advantage. Honeycomb was working for the higher ups and the elites. Honeycomb was turning out male rappers. Mason Better. Yeah, you're leaving dildos on the sink. Mace got to brush his teeth, floss his gums. And what was he doing with that dildo? Is what it is and it'll be what it's going to be. But let's go to another angle. You know, because you wasn't only doing that to male rappers. You wasn't only taking advantage of your fame and your celebrity, your fame and your fortune. You know, you was definitely doing some other things that jail time is warranted. Let's look at another receipt. Let's see what we got here. You know, like Mark Curry told his story, and I want to let Mark Curry refresh your memory. Because before we go into a deeper angle, I just want y'all to stay right here and just get a refresh on some of the things that Diddy got away with. Oh, nasty work, my G. Absolutely nasty work. Okay? Go ahead and talk to him, Mark Curry. Talk to the people, and we're going to double back it in. Look.
Yo, let me tell you something. We used to go in the club. We go into the nightclub, right? And we go and get to the VIP. All of these girls come around the VIP, and they just be standing there. And like, let me tell you something, man. I'm gonna get back with you. We gotta rewind this back. We used to go to when we go to the club, we used to have these bottles, right? And on this bottle, they be regular Moet bottles. On them bottles right there, they've been to have something to make the girls be real slippery and all of this kind of stuff. So when you get up, they be like, don't touch them bottles right there and only drink them bottles right there. So we already knew what the drill was. You just don't mess with them bottles, right? Then all of the girls is in the club after a while. They all running, opening up their mouth like little birds. He's running around just popping pills in their mouth. Pop, pill. And then that was the party. But all of the females that was in, that's what they wanted. That was what party. It was part of the hip hop culture. We ain't see nothing wrong with it until Bill Cosby got in trouble. He did one too many. Man, look. Hey, yo, let me tell you something. We used to go in the club. We go into the nightclub, right? And we go and get to the VIP. All of these girls come around the VIP, and they just be standing there. And like, let me tell you something, man. I'm gonna get back with you. We gotta rewind this back. We used to go to when we go to the club, we used to have these bottles, right? And on this bottle, they be regular Moet bottles. On them bottles right there, they been had something to make the girls be real slippery and all of this kind of stuff. So when you get up, they be like, don't touch them bottles right there and only drink them bottles right there. So we already knew what the drill was. You just don't mess with them bottles, right? Then all of the girls is in the club after a while. They all running, opening up their mouth like little birds. Just running around just popping pills in their mouth. Pop pill, 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 pill. And then that was the party. But all of the females that was in it, that's what they wanted. That was what party. It was part of the hip hop culture. We ain't see nothing wrong with it until Bill Cosby got in trouble. He did one too many. Man, look.
Now, y'all heard that. So think about all of the women that got drugged, those bottles that Mark Curry is talking about. And absolutely, I see that in the chat. Mark Curry ass need to be in handcuffs. Mark Curry, your ass need to be in prison with Diddy. Ain't no way you could talk like this and just walk free. You understand what I'm saying? So it get deep, it get wicked, and it's always deeper than rap. It's always deeper than rap. And the only reason why I'm bringing these situations up is because you got to understand something. Diddy is not an innocent man when it comes to what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? Diddy is not innocent. Diddy, let's stay right here. Imagine all the bottles that was spiked in these parties. Imagine walking into a party and understanding that those 40 bottles are spiked with roofies. These 40 bottles are clean bottles. And then after about 2 hours, everybody's drunk. Imagine how many men started drinking those bottles. It wasn't only women that was drinking those bottles. It was men and women getting drugged up, getting spiked, getting roofied. Wake up in the morning and you got a diaper on because you can't even control your bowel movements because somebody done blew out your back. Yeah. You gotta really understand how deep that go. That's nasty work. Absolutely nasty work. So Diddy is, it's a universal thing. It's an energy thing. Okay? Now, you gotta follow me on this. Some things are universal law. It's an energy transfer. For all those years that those girls and those men were being drugged and being sexually assaulted, for all those years that Mark Curry knew that those bottles was nasty work and he didn't say nothing. Everybody went along with it. Diddy is paying for that. So I needed to kind of give you some context on why I'm going the way I'm going. Some things are inevitable. You can't get around it. Just because I didn't see you do it, don't mean you're going to get away with it. And this is what I want my youngsters and even my OGs to understand. Like with Go Yayo and P. Diddy and all of these celebrity puppets. The things you do in the darkness, when it come to the light, you still got to pay for it. Okay? Thousands of bottles were spiked over the years. You got so many people that understand now that they was drugged and they was taken advantage of, but they don't want to speak about it. They don't want to go through the embarrassment of admitting that they were taken advantage of and they was drugged and they had spiked Moet, spiked Cristal. So it is what it is, and it'll be what it's going to be. When you listen to what he was doing to Mace, when you listen to Mark Curry tell stories about these spiked bottles of champagne, what you understand is Diddy, 4 years, It sounds about right. Big salute to the chat. You already know how we giving it up, and you absolutely already know how I'm putting it down. All right, big salute. Appreciate that 5-piece nugget. Only got 4 years. He only got 4 years, my G. Yeah, exactly. Hold on. Exactly. Just proving he down with the higher ups, and he was trained by, yeah, Andre Harrell. Yeah, they train him. Yeah, they train him to snatch souls. You know, Diddy did what he had to do to get up under the higher ups and the elites. Diddy was eating cock. You think he didn't have them dudes out there doing the same thing? So it's a balance with this. And being as though I stand on grown man business, I can only give it to you this way. I can't fully defend Puffy. I can't say, yo, nah. It's all good. Let's really reevaluate the situation. 4 years. I think that's a universal law. I think somehow the Most High set that play up. You need to sit your ass down, my G. You need to really come to grips with what just happened. And you need to understand that the next time they get their hands on you, you go into jail for life. Puff Daddy, Sean Diddy Combs. If you don't reevaluate your situation, if you don't understand that, you gotta smack on the wrist. It's a lot of things you got away with. It's a lot of things that you're paying for with this little 4 years. If you don't understand that, the next time the higher ups and the elites get you in position, your ass go into jail for the rest of your life, or they gonna Charlie Kirk you. Yeah, to blow your goddamn head off. All right? So again, I really wanted to throw those couple of receipts out there. Now, this is where I want to talk about integrity. I want to talk about morals and ethics. You had a situation with Go Yayo where some photographs were released. You know, they got pictures of Go Yayo, bent over by the toilet. Yeah, I'm talking Go Yayo bent over by the toilet with his whole, with everything exposed. Whatever this young girl was doing to him had him in the bathroom with his bum hole all out to the open, right? You got P. Diddy, so high on fame and fortune, so high up on the ladder to success that he was ordering male strippers with Cassie, and he was doing some outrageous homosexual activity with those male strippers, all right? And it's a lot of dudes in my DM that's asking, and they're saying, yo, Diddy's not a Rainbow Coalition member. Diddy's not gay because he did that with Cassie. Or Go Yayo he's not a homosexual because he did that with a female. This is where the message gets real at. We are living in a day and age where it's a lot of confusion on what a man is and what a man isn't. We are living in a day where it's a lot of smoke and mirrors on what a man is and what a man isn't. And what I need y'all to understand about this is just because you are behind closed doors and there are women involved doesn't mean you're not a homosexual if you partake in certain activity. Yeah, I really want this to sink in. I really don't want this to go over your head or under your bridge. If you got a female and you are behind closed doors and you allow her to eat your groceries, let me just say it like that because YouTube is very sensitive. You allow a woman to eat your groceries, you are a homosexual man. If you are behind closed doors and you start getting real freaky and nasty because a female is enticing you, and you cross the line, you are now a homosexual man, okay? And I see that it's a lot of confusion, so I want to bring some balance to this. If you are like Go Yayo and you get in that bathroom and you bend over by that toilet and you spread your cheeks and you let that woman take pictures of you, you are now a homosexual man. Respectfully, you are no different than Saucy Santana. You are no different than Little Nas X. Oh, but GMB, it was a female there. Yo, I was with a woman. Yo, blah, blah. Let me help you out with this. As a man, you are supposed to control the room. You are supposed to control the crowd. You understand me? So a woman, you know, her nature is to see how far she can push it. See how far she can take you. See how far you'll go as a man to have this type of interaction with her. Her beauty, her voluptuous body, all of these things that we see as a man is temptation. So if a woman can get you behind closed doors and tempt you and, you know, convince you to bend over by that toilet and spread your cheeks out. Yeah, I'm talking all outside, got you all spread out like go yayo. You need to be comfortable with who you are. You are now a homosexual man. There is no turning back when you partake in that type of activity. And what Puff Daddy was doing, he's no longer a man. He's now Saucy Santana. Yeah, the things you was doing with those male prostitutes, there is no turning back from that. So to everybody in my DM trying to explain, as soon as you let a female play with your bumhole, yeah, I'm talking like Beavis and Butthead, bunghole. Y'all, yeah. When you let a woman eat your groceries, yeah, you are no longer a man. When a female try to do that, you supposed to say, hold on, shorty, I ain't with all that. Yeah, I ain't with all that. Yeah, you want to get freaky, yeah, you do that somewhere else. But you ain't about to do none of that with a grown-ass man. Actually, she shouldn't even feel comfortable trying your groceries like that. So when you let a female eat your groceries, you're now gay. Okay? I want all the men in my chat to take that and apply that to your everyday life. You are now a homosexual. If you ever had your bumhole, if you ever let a woman eat your groceries, you're down with the Rainbow Coalition. Okay? Respectfully. There is no coming back from that. Okay? There is no explanation. Let me ask you a question. When you got to understand how when you let a female eat your groceries, right? You got to get in the buck, right? You got to get in you got to get in a buck position. That means you got to lay on your back and get in missionary, or you got to get bent over. So to all the men out there that's trying to make excuses about letting a woman eat your groceries, what position you get in when you let her do that? That's the real question. Anytime you talk to a man that is comfortable with telling you he lets women eat his groceries, you ask that man, what position did you get in? Did you have your legs up or was you bent over? Yeah. Was you in the buck? Did you have your legs up or was you in doggy style? How did you let it go down? And that's where you're going to figure out you was in the whole, you down with the Rainbow Coalition. So to all the men out there, if you are down with that, just accept your fate. Don't try to explain to me about, oh, it's okay if you let a woman do it. If you will let a woman do it, you will let a man do it. If you will let a woman eat your groceries, you will let a man eat your groceries. To all my youngsters, stay far away from that. If a woman ever play with you like that, correct the situation. Okay? Now I needed to get that game up because it's a lot of confusion out there. If you allow, you know, I'm going to tell you, I'm an old head, man. I just look like this. Yeah. You look, I'm an OG. I just look like this. I just look young. But when I was growing up, I didn't even know women did that. So I want to give y'all another piece of game. If a woman is is willing to eat a man's groceries, that's a nasty female. That's a nasty bit right there. If a woman is willing to eat a man's groceries, get rid of her. That's a nasty bit. Don't do it. I never knew women did that. I never knew that that was a part of the game when I was growing up. You know, I never had that happen. I never had a woman even ask me to do it. And I ain't gonna lie to you. A female that's willing to do that, that's a nasty, absolutely diabolical woman right there. That she ain't even a woman. Yeah, she's a whore. I need my youngsters to understand this. Okay? So let's just make sure that the message is understood. It only takes one time for you to be exiled as a man. It only takes one situation, one sexual encounter for you to be exiled as a man. You don't get to go on that side of the fence and come back over here. Once you go over there, you got to stay over there. Once you cross the line as a man, you don't get to come back. That's why manhood is so important. That's why integrity, yeah, that thing right there, integrity, ethics, ethical, moral, your moral compass. Let that moral compass guide you, youngster. Don't ever get so high or drunk or so freaky that you let a female take you across the line of homosexuality. All right? Big salute to the chat. Now, I just needed to throw that out there. Because, again, I got a lot of people in my DM asking about, like, Go Yayo. And I didn't want to do a whole live stream on Go Yayo and Puff Daddy. I just really wanted to incorporate this message all as one. Like, you don't get to double back. You don't get to cross the line and come back. Those photos of Go Yayo is nasty work. The stories that the Punisher and those male prostitutes told about Cassie and Diddy is nasty work. And you might not get caught for the crimes that you commit in the street. It might be the things that you do behind closed doors, the universal law that you break as a man that you have to pay for. That was a powerful message, man. I want y'all to really understand where I'm coming from when it comes to this. All right? It's hard being a man, especially in these days and times. It's so much temptation. It's so much confusion. It's so much smoke and mirrors on what a man does and what a man doesn't do, which is why this platform is so powerful. I don't think you will hear nobody on YouTube explain this to you. Letting a woman eat your groceries makes you a homosexual man. I don't care if it's just a woman that's doing it. You are now a part of the Rainbow Coalition. All right? Now, let's get into a couple of angles and a couple of more receipts. You know, let's get deeper into this. Let's really lay down some ground rules and let's really just get into a deeper message, right? You know, Diddy is doing 4 years. Diddy is been convicted. The trial is over. The whole circus is over. It's done for. All right? And we're gonna really break down what has to happen moving forward. What really needs to take place on the other side of this circus. All right? So let's get into one of these receipts. Big salute to the chat, man. I can't really see what's going on. I'm kind of upset about that. I'm not sure why. You know, the game is the game. They play with the channel. They shadow ban the channel. They muffle the message. And for some reason right now, it is what it is. But we don't always do this for numbers. We do this for the message. All right? And we going live tonight too. We going double back tonight. We going live tomorrow. On the weekends is when I can give y'all this pure dope. All right? So let's look at this message. Let's just look at what's going on. Let's look at this receipt. I want to let Shorty explain and kind of go in depth, give some context to what we already know. All right? Big salute to the chat. Hit the like button and all that.
A judge has just sentenced Combs to 4 years and 2 months in federal prison, and it's likely that he's going to get time served, which would mean that that's 50 months minus 13. So he will serve perhaps like a little over 3 years in prison, and again, he gets a little bit of time off for good behavior. Combs seemed unemotional when the judge decided his sentence. It was a really emotional day. Combs was crying as his children were up there speaking before the judge. 6 of his children spoke, telling the judge what their father means to them and how they really just want their father home. And his twin daughters talking about the death of Kim Porter, their mother, and saying that they've already lost a mother and now they've lost his father. The judge also directly addressing Sean Combs. He said, I know you feel like you're in a dark place, that your children depended on you, but he said to him directly, you are going to get through this. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and he said that you have an opportunity to right your wrongs and a true path to redemption.
Now, I like that message. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, this is where I kind of want to make a left-hand turn at. And I want to go deeper into this angle, right? You know, the trial is over. 4 years. I know it's sad. You know, anybody that has ever been to jail or prison and been sentenced to some time, you know, it's devastating, my G. You understand what I'm saying? It's always traumatic when you get time and you hear the judge and the court tell you you're about to go to jail and you about to put these handcuffs on and you got some time to do. You understand what I'm saying? But it doesn't take long being locked up that you understand that you have a release date. There's light at the end of the tunnel. There's going to be a day where you're going to be set free. You're going to be able to get back into society, make your money, be with your family, and, you know, just like this young lady said, right some of your wrongs. And that kind of plays into what I was already talking about the universal law, you know, energy, things that we get away with throughout our life. We get away with a lot. And then somehow, some way, it catches up to us and we end up having to reevaluate. We end up having to reflect on just life decisions. Okay? So I said what I said. Diddy is what he is. We went through that. Now it's time for redemption. Now it's time for redemption. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm hoping that Diddy comes out and he presses the line with that black political party and he presses the line about the community and, you know, just the agenda, propaganda, the things that's being pushed on the urban community. You know, you got a light at the end of the tunnel, man. This is not the end. It is not over. You know, this is when you sit down, you really speak to the Most High. You speak to that inner voice. You speak to the God in you. And you figure out what's your next move. How can you do it better? How can you correct yourself? How can you correct your wrongs? Now, we're going to be able to follow this situation and we're going to all be watching. We're going to all be paying attention. So when you get out of prison, I hope that you have understood some things. I hope that you reevaluate. And I hope that you come out and you will liberate your people. You understand what I'm saying? Now, it is what it is and it'll be what it's going to be because we still talking about a puppet. We still talking about a celebrity that falls up under the higher-ups and the elites. So I'm not going to hold my breath, but I will speak truth to power. I will put the downloads that download to me into the atmosphere, into the energy, into the frequency, into the ether. It is what it is and it'll be what it's going to be. But if you ain't got a life sentence, if you ain't got 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 20 years, if you ain't got one of those and you got 4 years, take that time and use it value. It is very valuable. Be strategic, okay? Because you got to understand something, man. As a man, this is where I'm going to close out, right? This is where we really, we are golden when it comes to this channel. These type of messages. As a man, right? When you fully step into grown man business, when you really step into the power of manhood and what it means to be a grown man that stands on business, what you're going to understand is you're going to start being pulled in multiple different ways. You're going to be stretched thin. That's what comes with this, being stretched. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna feel like a burden. It's gonna feel like what's going on. But when you are making your way towards greatness, that's what come with it. Word to Nipsey Hussle, man. I heard, and I always give flowers to Nipsey Hussle for gems that he dropped, for game that was given. You know, I might go into a receipt when it come to that. But this is how it's supposed to feel. To all my men out there, you know, that's in Puffy situation, to all the men out there that's not in Puffy situation, to all the men out there that's just going through life, working hard, grinding. This is how it's supposed to feel when you going towards greatness. It's supposed to be hurdles. It's supposed to be ups and downs. It's supposed to be a roller coaster. It's going to be times where you all the way up. You getting your money, taking care of your family. You happy with the image that you see in the mirror. And it's going to be times where you're going to be down. Things is not going your way. It's obstacles in front of you. You trying to figure out why is everything not going right. It's because you are going towards greatness. And Diddy, like it or not, if you believe it or not, as much as he has gained already, as much as he has obtained already, right? He's still walking and moving towards greatness if he makes the right decisions. Yeah. Listen, knowledge is infinite. You got to know something. Knowledge is infinite. So even if you make $1 billion, even if you 100 years old, no matter how much knowledge and gems and games that you have obtained over your path and your purpose, it's always more knowledge to gain. And even somebody on a level of Puff Daddy can learn something new, can gain more knowledge, can learn more ways to skin a cat. Knowledge is infinite. To all my, let's get into this receipt. This gonna be the last receipt. I always talk about Nipsey. I always give Nipsey his flowers, but I want to let Nipsey Hussle give y'all the game that I'm giving y'all. I want to let Nipsey Hussle speak from the grave. This is how it's supposed to feel. It's supposed to feel uncomfortable. It's supposed to feel like a burden. It's supposed to feel like weight on your shoulders, because if you don't feel like it's a burden, if you don't feel like you got weight on your shoulders, if you feel comfortable, then you doing something wrong. Oh yeah. To all my men out there, this is a part of walking in the path of grown man business. This is a part of following your purpose. You know what? Let's get in this receipt. Let's let Nipsey go ahead and talk to him, Nip. Look.
I juggle a lot. I play a lot of positions. My mentality when I do start to be like, damn, this is a lot. It's just, that's what it's supposed to feel like. If you are going toward what the vision look like, and that's like greatness. I just think about that. Like, this shit ain't supposed to feel comfortable. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to stretch you. It's supposed to be a burden to a degree. You gotta wrap your mind around that and accept it and embrace it. I juggle a lot. I play a lot of positions. My mentality when I do start to be like, damn, this is a lot. It's just, that's what it's supposed to feel like. If you are going toward what the vision look like, and that's like greatness. I just think about that. Like, this shit ain't supposed to feel comfortable. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to stretch you. It's supposed to be a burden to a degree. You gotta wrap your mind around that and accept it and embrace it.
That's word to Nipsey Hussle. That's word to Nipsey Hussle. And I mean, don't get it confused. I'm speaking to the women as well. But I gotta be directly, and I gotta be very upfront for the men. For the men that's in the chat, for the men that fall under my voice. The women are gonna follow us. The women are gonna follow our ideologies. The women are gonna follow the path that we blaze. Respectfully to all the women. Stacy Galore, I see you in the chat. To all the women, we blaze the path. for the women and the children. And again, I'm talking about Diddy. I'm just trying to send some positive energy his way. I'm just trying to say, because again, whatever you are, homosexual, straight, whatever you are, the energy is the energy. This look like it's the end. You feel like it's, 4 years, what you gonna do? Well, what you gonna do is understand that this is a part of the process that you talk about greatness. Diddy always talking about being great. Well, obviously, this is the part of the process. You got to wrap your mind around that. You got to wrap your head around the fact that it's supposed to feel like a burden. It's supposed to get stressful. It's supposed to stretch you out. It's supposed to feel like this. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. Yeah, it's uncomfortable in that jail cell, ain't it? It's uncomfortable eating that jail food, ain't it? Yeah, it's uncomfortable. Well, when you get out, maybe you'll start making better decisions about what you're doing behind closed doors with these women. Maybe when you get out of prison, you will really start having tunnel vision on what it means to liberate your people and not fall into temptation. You'll reevaluate what it means to use discipline, discernment. Yeah, discipline yourself when it comes to these women. Discipline yourself, homie. Now, to all the men that's out there, that's free, that's going to work every day, that's taking care of their family, that understand that the pressures of what it is to be a grown man. I'm talking to you. Look at what you got going on and understand it's supposed to feel like this. As a man, it ain't supposed to be comfortable. It ain't supposed to be, hunky-dory. It ain't supposed to be shits and giggles. It's supposed to be every day figuring out how to get to the next level and getting to the next level with your integrity, your ethics, and your morals intact. Getting to the next level with all of those things intact, not bending, breaking, or folding, but still figuring out how to get there and being as though we ain't P. Diddy, right? We ain't out there working for the higher ups and the elites. We ain't pushing an agenda. We ain't misleading the community. You got to do this thing organically. It's going to take longer. It's going to be harder. It's going to take more hard work. Big salute to the chat. I mean, it is what it is and it'll be what it's going to be, right? Being as though we are all the same, these morals and these ethics and these gems and these rules, they apply to me. When I listen to that, I apply it to myself. Damn, GMB, it's getting hectic. I got my family pulling at me. I got my mom pulling at me. I got my wife, my kids. I got my job. I got my income. I got all these different variables pulling at me at one time. I'm just a man. Well, it's supposed to feel like this. It's supposed to feel this way. It's supposed to be this way. I wouldn't take it no other way. That's why these angles had to be set in stone and delivered a certain way. You can't be behind closed doors busting your ass cheeks open and then expect to be respected as a man when you step out into the light. You can't be behind closed doors having sex parties and freak-offs with male prostitutes playing in cum, swimming in semen, and then expect us to respect you as a man. That ain't how it work. It don't work like that. The things you do in the dark, you got to do in the light. When you go into the darkness, you got to shine your light. You can't play in the darkness. When you go into the darkness, shine your light of integrity, your light of respect, your light of morals, ethics. Those lights need to be shined on high beam when you step into the darkness. Yeah. When you step into the darkness, shine your light, homie. Don't get behind closed doors and start letting them females bust your cheeks open. Don't get behind closed doors and start having dildos on your sink like Mason Betha. When you behind closed doors, you stand on business. Now, being as though Diddy is a part of the algorithm, we ain't doing nothing but baiting the algorithm. Oh, I got deeper. We gonna go. I got gems. I got downloads that been downloading all week while I've been over the road working. Cause y'all know I drive trucks and all that. I ain't one of these YouTubers that's trying to be a celebrity. I ain't Charleston White. I ain't Zippy. I ain't these dudes. I'm one of the ones that's gonna let you know, oh, it's real on this side. Okay? I ain't the ones that's hiding out. Yeah, everything is transparent. This is grown man business. It ain't a lot of these dudes that can stand on that. A lot of these dudes, they willing to go and get with P. Diddy. They want to go, yeah, they want to walk through the door. They want to be a celebrity. They'll do anything to get in that limelight. I don't want the limelight. I just want to shine my light. See, it's a difference. I don't want the limelight. I just want to shine my light. So when I'm driving these trucks, when I'm crossing state lines at all times, when I'm doing what I got to do as a grown man to stand on grown man business, the downloads are downloading. Pure dope, straight off the brick into the bottles. And all I could do is put that in your pipe so you can smoke it. Yeah, I got a lot of DMs, man. What's going on? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what's going on. Big salute to these dudes. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about, we're going to really talk about what's the final level for content creation. What's your end goal? What's the end game when it come to YouTube? What you dudes really doing this for? I mean, what are you using this platform to do? What are you trying to do? You want to be a celebrity. You want one of these dudes like 50 Cent or Cameron or P. Diddy. You want them to put you under the wing. You want them to give you an opportunity. Well, just know, like Cat Williams said, what comes with that opportunity. And when we see you walk through the door, don't act like you didn't act on that opportunity. Don't act like you was just so nah. You bend it, breaking and fold. What you get into? What was you willing to do? Oh yeah, big salute to the chat. Big salute to everybody that's in tune, man. You gotta know something, man. We running up these numbers. We running up the likes. We running up the subscribers. We on our way to 50K, man. We about 400 subscribers from 50,000. All right, so we was only here for this live stream to bait the algorithm. Well over 10,000 views. We ain't doing too much with this one, but we gonna double back for sure. Big salute. What's going on? Who we got in the chat? Yeah, growing up with Manny. I see you in here. Young, what it do? I see you in here. Ryan Anthony, see you in here. Juke my box. That's it's an ill name, but I see you in here. Big salute to you. I see you in the chat. Yeah. Big salute to everybody that's locked in. P. Diddy, you gonna get down or you gonna lay down. You see what they just did to you. You might want to use this 4 years to really reevaluate your situation. All right. Now I'm an old man, right? So I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna take me a nice nap, get in my big bed and do what I do, and then we're gonna double back. For sure, we're gonna double back. So you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. You feel what I'm saying? Now listen, you can tap in and you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You do know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. Listen, man. I suggest you tap into this grown man business. I suggest you tap into this grown man content at all times. You already know what it is. Straight off the brick into the bottle. Straight off the brick into the bottles. Straight, raw, pure, uncut, no extras, no preservatives. We not sugarcoating nothing and we not dressing nothing up. I'm only here to give you this game straight raw. No fentanyl, no baking soda, no quinine. We don't water whip this dope and we don't counter whip this dope. Yeah, I'm going to give it to you straight off the brick into the bottles. Diddy, he just went through a humiliation ritual. That's normal. That's common when it comes to these celebrities. Puff Daddy just went through a humiliation ritual. They did not terminate you, so they humiliated you. They let us know what you were doing behind closed doors. They let us know, guaranteed, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, that you are a homosexual man and you are out of the closet. You ain't even got to come out the closet. You've been exposed already. right? But the reason they did that had nothing to do with those male prostitutes. It had nothing to do with Cassie. It had nothing to do with Puff Daddy's sexual orientation. It had nothing to do with that. It was all because he was pressing a line. He stepped out of pocket. He started pushing a new agenda. He started talking about a black political party. Oh yeah, he started talking about taking control over black revenue, over black votes. He really started talking about liberation of his people. And it's a reason you don't do that. It's a reason Jay-Z never talks like that. It's a reason why LeBron James never talks like that. It's a reason why these puppets at the highest level never talk about liberation, never talk about politics, never talk about revenue, fortune, money, the black dollar. Oh yeah, that's the reason. Okay? But you got to understand something on another level, another angle. It's universal law that's in place. You don't get to play behind closed doors and then come out in front of the people like you don't get to do that. You don't get to play both sides of the fence. In due time, you will be exposed. And Diddy, he's a homosexual man. He has been exposed. He has been humiliated. Is what it is, and it'll be what it's gonna be. For all the things you got away with, my G, trust me, you are paying for it with a smack on the wrist. You got a chance now to regroup. Everything, all those spike bottles, all of those homosexual activity, all those late nights with Meek Mills, all those times you was leaving them dildos in Mace's bathroom for whatever you was doing to Mace in that brownstone, you're paying for it. Stand on your business and pay your debt to society. Okay? Last but not least, it ain't easy being a man standing on grown man business. This ain't a cakewalk. Every male that you see is not a man, my G. Every male that you see is not a man. It take more than money to be a man. Yeah, the man make the money don't make the man. It take more than celebrity and fame and status. It take a lot more. It take morals, discipline, integrity, discernment, respect, ethics. It take all of those things, my G, and more. And I'm going to tell you, in this day and age we live in, with all the temptation, with all the social media, with everything that we are being bombarded with as men, it is very easy for you to end up in a room with a beautiful Instagram model, convincing you to let her eat your groceries, convincing you to let her do all type of weirdo activity behind closed doors while she's sneaking pictures of you, while they secretly recording your ass. As a man, you're going to have to stand on real business. And I needed to get that message out. As a man, this shit ain't easy. This ain't a cakewalk. It's not going to be a comfortable situation. It's not going to be something that's comfortable. It's going to stretch you. It's going to work you out. It's going to tempt you. And to all the men out there, I'm telling you, stand on business. It's going to pay off in the long run. This ain't a sprint. This is a marathon. It's going to pay off in the long run. Okay? It might not seem like it's paying off right now, but trust me, it's going to pay off in the long run. All right? So you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business TV, all in. Miss Alkaline Lifestyle, I see you in this chat. You already know. Yeah, Miss Lovelace, I see you in the chat. You already know. Big Wrenches, you already know how I'm giving it up. And you all absolutely know how I'm putting it down. Oh, yeah, I just look like this. I just look like a youngster. Yeah, man. Yeah, yo. Don't worry about it. I just look like this. I'm an OG. I be goddamn if you're eating groceries over here. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. A bitch, if you willing to put your mouth on a grown man. Bitch, you was a nasty, I don't want nothing to do with you. You put that little pretty mouth on a, bitch, you's a nasty on a man? Bitch, you know what type of groceries men got? Them some nasty groceries, bitch. You's a disgusting, diabolical. I don't care how pretty you are. You eating man asshole, bitch. You's a nasty motherfucker. You need to be shunned and you need to be exiled out of the community. And for all the men out there, what position you doing that in? Oh, she had you in the buck, missionary with your legs up? Because you either got to put your legs up or you got to bend over to get that. To all men out there. You're a home. Yeah, you gay. You gay, brother. Just accept it. You're a homosexual man. You ever put your legs up in the air? You a part of the Rainbow Coalition. You ever bent over for sexual activity as a man? You ever bent over? You ever got on all fours? You ever got in doggy style? You ever bent over by the toilet like Go Yayo? With your groceries exposed? You might as well go to the gay parade. Yeah, you might as well celebrate gay pride and all that. Respectfully, that's your thing. I don't care if a woman does it. I don't care. Respectfully, it's nasty work. I gotta be the only one on YouTube to tell you grown ass men that part of the game. I don't hear nobody else. Everybody else is like, yo, nah. If you ever let a woman eat your groceries, you're a homosexual. I love being the bearer of bad news. It is what it is. That would make a lot of you dudes out there, yeah, you get something like that. You something like that when you dig. You cock your legs up. You something like that. You bending over in doggy style. You something like that. We gotta really start giving respect to the real men out here, the big dogs, real men. With that being said, man, we gonna stand over, bitch. Yeah, I had to say it, man. I had to say it. Fuck it, I gotta put it out there. Somebody needed to say this shit. So I don't know why. I don't know what's going on in the world where there's a confusion. But if grown men gotta speak on this. Go Yayo, there's a lot of people, a lot of youngsters asking me about. I didn't know who Go Yayo. I don't know Go Yayo. I never listened to Go Yayo. I never seen nothing. I don't know Go Yayo, but I seen some pictures of Go Yayo, and certain people are saying, no, he's straight. Nah, homie. That type shit right there, I don't care if a female did it. Nah, homie, that ain't that ain't how it work over here on this side of the fence. Okay? Now, if your girl want to put her legs up, that's okay. Your girl want to get in doggy style, we condone that. But when you start doing that, I don't give a fuck how it go down. I don't care if it was 2 women doing it. Go ahead and get your rainbow color bracelets and go ahead and celebrate Pride Month and all of that. Do your shit. Diddy is a gay man. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully. Diddy's gay. Take that. Diddy's gay. Diddy is a homosexual. All right? What time is it? It's about 7 o'clock. We're going to do a late night live stream tonight, round about 10 o'clock. Make sure your notification bells are ringing. Make sure you locked into the Realest channel on YouTube, Grown Man Business TV. Diddy going to be home soon, man. He probably do like 2.5 years. Time served, programs. Diddy will be home soon. No time. Big salute to the chat. You know what I mean? Yeah, Diddy will be home in no time. But at the end of the day, grown man business and grown men talking is few far in between. A lot of these dudes, You know, they portray themselves as grown men, but then they get behind the closed doors and they start doing what Goyayo was doing. You know, they portray themselves as grown men in public, and then they get behind closed doors and they got male prostitutes and they playing in semen, and yeah, they rubbing semen on they areolas, and they doing all this activity and all that. So a lot of the times, it's very few far in between. You're going to get a real man like myself that's going to stand on business and deliver this dope to y'all. So big salute to the chat. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We going live around 10:30 tonight. Make sure you in tune. We going to go up. All right? Big salute to the chat. You already know what time it is. It's your boy Grown Man Bennett TV. Feel what I'm saying? Tap in, tap out. But you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. Gang.